Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to my SimCity video tutorials. In this video I'll be continuing on with my multi-city tutorial, and first of all I will bring you up to speed to what I have been cooking up in these two cities. As you know from my previous videos, this is my first city. It has been specialized for drilling of oil and refining, and I have finally reached the point where I am actually refining this crude oil that I am extracting from these 3 oil wells into fuel, which I'm selling for quite a nice profit. I have built 2 oil refineries. Both of them require around 600 plus workers. This one has at the moment even 700. This means that I have had to upgrade my residentials, some of them at least, in order to fill the need for those workers. Now I am still having unfilled jobs at 500, 100 and 100, but after the 2.0 patch you are far better off having unfilled jobs than having unemployed. Why is this? Well, a lot of people have been building only residential cities and have been posting how they are successful and how Sims don't need to work, they don't need to shop, they can be happy just from parks, and you can have huge residential cities without anything, even without water, power or sewage. Now the Maxis team has decided to put an end to that, and now as soon as you have even a single Sim being unemployed for an entire day, he's going to reduce the happiness of his residents, and that residence is going to be out of money very soon. And once it's out of money, the Sims from that residence are going to become homeless and they are going to leave that house. Now you should also remember that when I first started building the city, I told you that you should be on the lookout for these numbers constantly where you're at low density. Once you reach medium and high density, these numbers become quite bad at actually telling you the status of your city. Now, as you can see here, I have 750 unfilled jobs and over 1,000 unsatisfied customers. But if you were to go knock on each and every residential in this city, you would find that they A. have a job, B. are happy from shopping. If you were to knock on any commercial in my city, you would find that they are making a lot of profit and that they have a lot of shoppers. Now, that is why I told you that after medium and high density, these numbers no longer are accurate. Now let's move on to the actual multi-city part of this tutorial. This time around I am still going to be talking about the student body going to the university in my other city and the recycling trucks and how they work between these two cities. Now first of all, in this city you can see that I have not enrolled 2,000 students. If we go to the region view and go to the student body, you can see that none of my students are actually going to the university city to be educated. And from this education overlay, you can see exactly that. You can see that these kids are all still here and that they are all still kids and not students, which means that none of these people are being educated by my university city. I have tried to get these kids to go to the university by building a bus terminal and placing bus stops in this city and in my university city. It turns out kids cannot use buses to go to a university. They can only use cars. Now this is why I told you in my previous video that if you make a university, it is very possible that only a fraction of the other city students will be coming in to be educated, but it is very possible that all of them will be educated even though a fraction of them are going into that city. Now it seems that that isn't completely accurate, because if you have a high school and if you're picking up kids from this city to go to a high school in another city, you do not have to pick them all up, but they will all be educated. But that does not go for a university. The difference being that when kids are picked up by buses, they can be taken to another city, and even if a fraction of them are taken, the entire city is educated. While if the kids are taking cars to become students and go to the other city, only the ones that actually come back as students will be bringing education into this city. Now the other thing that I have mentioned is recycling. You can see here that there are recycling trucks coming in from my other city and picking up these recyclables. Now that works regardless of how it works in the city that's sending these trucks. If you tell the other city to send them, they will 100% be coming in and they will 100% be picking up recyclables. Now the other addition to this city, besides having the oil refineries and the residential high density, is this solar power plant. Now why do I need so much power? you need a lot of power once you start building these specialized buildings. The oil refineries require a lot of power. The two processor factories I have in my other city also require a lot of power. And as soon as I started building this high wealth, medium wealth, low wealth, high residential, they also increased the requirements for power, water, and sewage. Now let's go to the other city and see what it has to say about recycling and university students. Now, the first thing you're probably going to notice is two universities. Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell do you need two universities? Well, here's why. So the idea was that one of these universities would be teaching the kids from this city, while the other one could receive the kids coming in from the other city and teach them. Now, the trick here is that if you look here, you can see that the number of students commuting in is over 2,000. In my first city, there are around 1,900 children. Now, let's disregard the fact that 100 children seem to be popping out of nowhere. You will notice that I have 0 enrolled which live in this city. Well, I have these 2,000 commuting in, and I have total desks of 2,000. But I still have extra 2,000 desks. So even though I have 2,000 students that are supposed to be commuting in, none of them are taking up desks. But that doesn't negate the fact that children in this city do not seem to have enough room to go to the university, and none of them seem to be enrolled. But if we go to the education tooltip and the overlay, you can see that all of these children are educated. So even though this advisor is telling you that the children in this city are not enrolled, they actually are. And even though he's telling you that you have 2,100 extra desks, you actually do not have those extra desks because they are being filled up by children from this city. And as you can see, they are very well educated. Now, another thing you may notice is if you look here, I seem to have 1,189 students enrolled and only 303 not enrolled, while I have 1,895 students in total. So also in this city, it seems that I have some ghost students. If we go to the population overlay, you can see exactly where these students live. You can see them because they're marked by this pink and they're called students. If you take a look at all of these residentials, you can notice that a number of them do not actually have any students in them. And those are your missing students. They are reported right here for the total, but they actually never are in any housing. Now, why is that? Well, that is because they are constantly moving about the city. So that is the trick about it. I have a certain number of students which are enrolled at the school. I also have a number of students that end up walking around the city during the entire night until the next school day, which means they never actually go back to homes and they're never registered as actually being educated. So that is why I have a large number of students that are ghosts. As you can see, I have 300 which are not enrolled, but I also have a few hundred that are never reported either to the university or to the homes. Now you might be asking yourself, where are those 2,000 students that are supposed to be commuting in? Well, let's take a look. It's 2 AM. We can just sit here and wait for them to come in. And now you see them. They are piling up at the entrance and there's quite a lot of them. But is there going to be 2,000 of them coming in? Well, that is a good question. Let's keep watching. Well, it's 6 PM now, so let's see what the numbers say. I have had around 1,439 students come in today to the university. Of those 1,439 students, around 1,189 were from this city, which means that only about 200 plus students came from the other city to be educated here. Not even close to the 2,000 that the advisor seems to be telling us are coming in. Now, if you take a look at the region map, we can see that it also says 2,000 students. So we see what happens to the students. Now let's see what happens to the recyclables. I have sent 12 recycling trucks to my first city to pick up recyclables. The question is, do those trucks actually bring back the recyclables and get paid for their services? Well, in my first attempt, they started doing exactly that. Then after a while, no more trucks were coming in and bringing recyclables from the other city, nor were they getting paid for it. Why was this? This is because at some point, the trucks that you send to the other city get stuck in their garages at the recycling center. You can only fix that problem by bulldozing those garages and rebuilding those pickup trucks. After I did that and sent the new trucks into my first city, they again started getting the money for picking up recyclables and bringing actual recyclables to this recycling center. Now you can see that I have 12 recycling collection trucks. How many did you notice just now entering the garages? There were maybe 6 or 7 max. This means that once more they are bugged and they are stuck in those garages and they are not going to the other city for any more pickups. So in essence, that is what this bug is about. The trucks you send to another city will do their job, get paid for it, bring in the recyclables, but at one point sooner or later they are going to start getting stuck in their garages and are not even going to be used to pick up the recyclables in the city in which they are built. The only fix, as I said, is to bulldoze all the garages, rebuild those trucks, and then again send them to the other city to pick up the recyclables until the whole process has to be redone. Max's team has posted several times how they have fixed the problem, they tweaked the problem, and so on, but the problem seems to still persist. Now, to get back to the point of the university students. For that, we need to go back to our first city and see what will happen to those students that we saw being educated in our second city just yesterday, and let's see, are they actually going to come back to this city once we let it run for a while. And now you see them. They are now actually coming into this city and they are educated kids that are now students once they come into these homes. As you can see here, the number of students goes up as these cars come in. Now this is showing us that the students we saw coming into our second city, our education specialized city with 2 universities, that they actually got educated, went out of that city, and now they're coming into this city. But what is the main problem? Only a fraction of them actually get educated and come back to the city as students. And the other problem, as soon as you reload the game, all of those students once again become kids and they no longer are educated. So for this city to be educated, you have to be in it and running it. As soon as you quit this city, they all go back to default and being kids. It is now 9 PM and these are all the students we are going to get for today. Now the question is, would you get more students if you ran only this city and constantly? Possibly. Would that help you in any way? It would not, because once you reset the city, they all go back to kids. Maxes, you still have a lot of work to do. So that will be all for this video. Thank you for watching and please stay tuned for more.